Many students in the job search process focus on their materials. However, while the materials may get you the interview is often what earns you the job. Getting an interview can be an exciting prospect, but for many people, it can be cause for anxiety. It's important to be your genuine self, but also a polished version of yourself. Let's begin by talking about the most common types of interviews. There are phone screens, virtual interviews, and in-person interviews. You may have one interviewer or several, and you should prepare to engage everyone involved in your interview process. Be mindful of the fact that interviewing norms can vary substantially all over the world, and you'll want to adapt your approach to the location and industry to which you are applying. Consider your body language, eye contact, tone, manners, and regional customs when interacting with interviewers. In the US, a firm handshake, significant eye contact, a smile, and lots of enthusiasm for the company are nearly universal. In the US, in-person interview candidates should arrive 10 to 15 minutes prior to the start of their interview. Arriving late by even a minute or two can often mean an interview is over before it begins. But note that arriving very early can also be a turnoff for employers. A good guideline for interview clothing in the US is to dress one step up from what employees wear there day to day. The most basic level of work clothing is casual. This might include jeans, sweaters, sneakers, and the like. Casual clothing should still avoid controversial graphics and messages. The next step up is business casual clothing. Business casual clothing includes blouses, polo shirts, button-downs, trousers, cardigans, blazers, and more. Business formal clothing is a step above that. It often includes a full suit or business-appropriate dress in dark or neutral colors. Remember to be well-groomed and avoid over-the-top fragrances, since you never know who may be allergic. If you have a phone or virtual interview, make sure you have a quiet setting, free of disruption, and ensure a good connection. In terms of the content of your interview, a successful interview process begins with self-awareness about your relevant and transferable skills and your ability to showcase them to a prospective employer. Before interviewing, reread the job description, as well as your application materials, to familiarize yourself with the types of skills that seem most important for that role. Once you feel confident that you know which skills to highlight, think about the experiences you've had from different realms of your life. This might include undergraduate coursework, extracurricular activities, internships, campus jobs, volunteer work, full-time employment, grad school, and more. It's essential to research the organization. Look for up-to-date information on their website and social media pages, and use your network and Glassdoor to learn more about what the organization is like on the inside. Showcase your research and knowledge of the organization by discussing specific things they do well or that differentiate them from similar organizations. Tell them what's exciting to you about their work. Now that you've reflected on the job description, your experience, and the organization, it's time to develop a cohesive, appropriate narrative that allows the employer to see how you would be a great match for the role. Ask yourself, how has my background and experience thus far led me to this position? Don't focus on how you would benefit from the company. Instead, consider how the skills and knowledge you have would contribute to the company. Even though you will not be able to predict all the questions you may be asked, feeling a level of comfort with talking about yourself and framing your responses with a knowledge of your audience will be immensely helpful. Of course, it's still good to prepare for common types of questions though. These might include tell me about yourself, behavioral questions, strengths and weaknesses, knowledge of the organization, technical knowledge questions, scenario and role-play questions, and questions to ask your interviewers. If you know who will be interviewing you, it can also help to look them up on LinkedIn or the organization's website to best frame your answers. And lastly, always follow up with a thank you note within 24 hours to each of your interviewers to reaffirm your interest and thank them for their time. To learn more, check out our next video on advanced interviewing strategies or find our additional interviewing resources in Handshake. You can also make an appointment with a Wasserman career coach to do a mock interview and get feedback about how to improve.